It's the underdog story that took on the greatest golfers in the world and won. Today, we revisit the 2005 Disney live-action gem, The Greatest Game Ever Played, to ask the question, does this inspiring true story still drive straight down the fairway? Or has it lost its swing?
Those men don't have to earn a place in this world. It's given to them. We're not those kind of people.
Then, will Seth stump me on trivia? Or will I pull off the upset of the century and take the lead?
Did Bill Paxton create the ball cam shot used in the movie?
And of course, how are we going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at Grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic? So grab your favorite snack, whether it's a hot dog at the clubhouse or a bag of peanuts in the gallery, because the game is on the line and going to the playoffs. This is Movies at Grandma's House. Hello, please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Have a seat and make yourself comfortable. This is Movies at Grandma's House, where we'd love to revisit the movies from our childhood to answer the question, does it still hold up? And is it family-friendly enough that even Grandma can enjoy? And I'm your host, Isaac. Make it roll, it'll seek the hole.
And this is Seth. How'd you sleep? Like a baby. Woke up every 2 hours and cried.
Oh, love that quote. It is great to see you, Seth. This is going to be a lot of fun, I can tell. A lot to discuss with this film, but as a reminder for the ones at home, what are we watching for this visit to Grandma's?
The Greatest Game Ever Played.
So if you have not seen this film, fair warning, we're going into spoiler territory, talking it up and discussing it. If you have not seen it, you have been warned. Well, let's get some more information about this film and some film facts. So The Greatest Game Ever Played was released back on September 30th, 2005. It had a budget of $25 million. The box office, $15.4 million. So it did take a loss when it came to the box office. But looking around at some reviews, IMDb is at a 7.4 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 62%. Letterboxd has a 3.5 out of 5. Currently, as of this recording, you can watch it for free on Disney+. It stars Shia LaBeouf, Stephanie Delane, Peter Firth, Elias Koteas, and many more. It's in association with Buena Vista Pictures Distribution and Walt Disney Pictures. And last but not least, we have to hear, how does Grandma rank this one?
Granny's family-friendly rating for The Greatest Game Ever Played is a B+ for brief language, smoking, and alcohol use.
That's right. Pretty mild on those themes, but they are there just to be aware. As much as this is a Disney film, it's a part of the times. This is based on a true story, so fair warning, but it's, again, it's more on the milder side when it comes to those types of things. But we want to hear from you. What are your memories, and how would you rate this film? Be sure you comment down below. We see you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Well, again, 2005, this is when it came out. You're talking 21 years ago. So I'm interested. What are your first memories with this film?
So I saw this in theaters. Funny story. The power went out. And not only did we get free tickets, but we were able to finish the movie. So it's a very memorable movie for me.
That is so cool. Wow. So the power went out, how long was it out for? Now I got to know.
I think there was a backup generator that provided backup lights so that you could see a little bit in the dark, but it took a little time and there was no projector or anything for quite some time. We stood out in the hallway and waited for them to get it fixed, and then they got it fixed and started the movie back up. They're like, if you want to stay, that's okay. If not, we'll give you free tickets. So,
wow. That's really cool. That's memories I love to hear, the little details too of they had a backup generator and all that. So that's awesome. That's man, going back, I could kind of see that certain theaters, I'll be honest, they weren't the greatest quality. I don't know about that one, but I'm thinking the power could go out at any time.
It was a new theater. Now that you brought it up, it was a very new theater at the time. And I was kind of shocked. I wasn't expecting it, but it made for a good story.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we are 20 plus years later and you're still talking about it. So that's awesome. So me, I'm the opposite. I didn't see this one. This was actually the first time coming back and watching it. I heard great things about it. You have Shia LaBeouf kind of in that phase where he was really hitting popular standards in all the roles he was in. This was one that maybe just flew under the radar for me. I don't know why. I've enjoyed him in other films and his roles that he plays. But just there's controversy in his personal life, we won't get into. But just as an actor, I've respected him. He's been a good actor in my eyes. But I just don't have any memories with this one, to be honest with you. And I enjoy golf. I play it from time to time. Now it's really expensive, so I don't get to play it as much as I'd like to. But yeah, everything is kind of checking the box of like, why didn't I watch this movie? It's something that I think I would have enjoyed. Just it got lost in the mix. I don't know what else to say on that. But again, with that said, 21 years ago, coming back to this one, I'm interested. What were your expectations?
So honestly, it's a movie I frequently watch. So I return to this often, and it's just to enjoy it. So, and maybe it's part of those memories of seeing it for the first time. It really struck me as a different film for sure.
Yes, that's awesome. That's great because that's certain movies just when you have that nostalgia, and that's what this podcast is about, coming back to those movies. In some cases, maybe you do watch them often, but maybe it's been a while, but just being able to relive those memories. There's just something about that. Movies are able to recapture those emotions and be able to experience it all over again. So for me, I was like, hey, this should be up my alley. I don't want to put my expectations too high, but I'm like, hey, I should just kick back, relax, and have a good time with it. I was seeing the actors and other things we'll kind of get into more. So I was like, yeah, I like the casting. Everything is lining up. I'm just going to keep my expectations down at a reasonable time. And I'm going to see if this is something my kids would want to watch, something they would enjoy, those types of things as well. Well, before we get into the plot rewind, let's pause just a moment to hear from our sponsors. Hey, love movies as much as we do? Then bring the experience of the theater to your walls with movieposters.com. Whether you're into the classics, the blockbusters, or indie gems, they have something for every single film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can save up to 15% on your order right now. Just use code Grandma's House at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today. Okay, in this case, I think we're past VHS, so we're going to take the DVD out. We're going to put it in the DVD player and press play.
The story focuses on Francis Ouimet, a young man attempting to do the impossible, beat his golfing idol, Harry Vardon, a veteran golfer. Francis struggles to prove himself to the world, but mostly to his father. Harry, on the other hand, wants to show he still has it, what it takes to be a champion.
Very nice. Yes, this is based on a true story, and again, based on a true story. You know, Hollywood's going to play up epic moments and get your emotions going, but I'm the type that doesn't really bother me if it's not going to be historically accurate. I do appreciate ones that are historically accurate. But the first thing that hits me is like, yeah, this is trying to capture that story that it's based upon and takes you back to the, about 1910s. I think it was 1913 was the tournament that this is based upon. So I really appreciate when a movie can take you back in time. I really did feel like I was transported back there, as much as obviously I wasn't alive then, but history and historical books that you read about, it feels like they did a good job capturing it. But I got to start with you. Again, you've got a lot of memories. I'm interested. What's kind of your first impressions as you're watching the film?
So honestly, I'm astounded with the directing style and how good it was. It was a fresh look on golf. It didn't look like, and I'll talk about it later with fun facts, but it didn't look like what's on TV. It looked like you were there. And so the director did a really good job in that way, and it made it look interesting. And that's really what stood out to me the most in first impressions.
Yeah. And it just kind of hit me because talking about director, I saw Bill Paxton is the director. So that's kind of cool. I really enjoyed him and the roles he played in, but here he's now on the director's seat. And I agree with you. The directing style, the way they shot angles, they were going for the emotion. I'm going to probably say that over and over again, but that's what this movie is. It's a drama. It's got some nice comedy and humor that's sprinkled in there that you can appreciate, but it's certainly making that the focus of trying to put you in the place of the characters, what they're feeling in that moment, and also the times, people's viewpoints, how they view certain classes or communities. It did a good job of capturing it just from the way it was shot. That was something that jumped out to me too, as well. It's just there's certain angles, like a dramatic scene, and it's really subtle if you're not like really paying attention. But if you do pay attention to those kinds of things, of angles and like taking different perspectives, that's what this movie's about, of people's viewpoints. It does that. Like it's on one side, like there's shots that are taken from behind a person and it's on the right side. Now they're thinking and they're looking at a different viewpoint. The camera shifts to the other side. So really cool touches. If you appreciate those things, I do. I'm not going to say I sit here and catch all of them, but the ones I did notice, I was kind of like, that's really neat. I really like how the directing style is. But again, this is based on a true story. So got to jump into, what did you think of the story and the plot overall? I mean, it's kind of your underdog story, but what did you think of it overall?
So, it's a simple story, but like you mentioned, emotional, the storyline, and this really shines with the characters and their arcs. And it the way it's told, it just moves forward in a way that's intriguing. And I like the way that they told the story, the summary for this.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't like your typical story of just here's a game, here we go. I go back to again, I'm going to probably repeat myself, but it brings in more of the emotion, that human element. And I think that's a great way to tell a story just overall. I mean, you don't want to overdo it at the same time, but that was really important to the structure of the story because here you have Shia LaBeouf's character, Francis Ouimet. He is just common folk. And the big
Hmm.
thing of golf is it's a gentleman's game. And ones
Hmm.
that are in stature and wealthy, those types of people are the ones that should play golf. But he's got this talent. He's able to play golf. And even at a young age, he's catching the attention of people. Like, you've got this ability. And it's just him being that underdog and overcoming not just his own doubts about himself, but also how people view him and
Hmm.
trying to overcome that struggle, even from family. I mean, his father throughout seems like a roadblock to him. He's wanting to make his father proud. And constantly he's giving like this disappointment because he wants him to, he's thinking more like a father would. I also appreciate that now being a father of like, you want the best for your child. And, when you're younger, maybe you don't make the best decisions. So he's thinking more, go with the safe route in life. Go get that job that's going to provide for you. But this is a potential that Francis has. And that's just well done on the story. I agree. The story is just going to be kind of that strong suit along with the characters, which are a big part of the story. But how they develop that, they could have just said, okay, this is about a common little kid that took up golf and look, he played some professionals and everything worked out. It was like, no, it really went that extra mile to get that emotional impact. Did you kind of pick up on that as well? It's like that's what they're kind of putting the spotlight on.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts is when his father says, "They don't pay you," and he's like, "They can't," and he says, "But they play the others."
Yeah.
And I'm
Right.
like, "Wow, that hits hard."
Yeah.
And it's so simple too, and the dialogue is so simple in this movie, but yeah, it hit everything punches just right for this film.
I agree. Yeah, that's a great point. Just that goes back to the father of you might see things. It doesn't mean like you're trying to be better than your children, but you just see things of his
Mhm.
father saying, yeah, you're being treated differently because they view you differently.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to protect them, that as a father. So I appreciate that way of showing as family. Sometimes they're trying to do what's best for you, but in this case, it was a struggle because
Mhm.
he's wanting to live out this dream. And there's a lot of quotes, like you said, they're simple, but they're powerful. I was thinking of like another scene is the opera and the mother's walking out and he's just kind of upset and she asks what's wrong and he's like, I want to hear that voice. I can't remember the quote exactly. I wish I would have wrote it down, but the point is he's disappointed that, he made that promise to his father not to play golf anymore if he didn't qualify. But he's still struggling with that. It means so much to him and it's compassionate. So that's what you're going to get with this film is if you enjoy that, it does a really good job of storytelling, really getting the emotions involved. Now, we talk about the story. I mean, you got to talk about the characters because they are a huge part of the story. I mean, if you don't have good characters, what do you have in the end? So got to know, what do you think of the characters?
Well, off the bat, I mean, I want to say that the whole cast was amazing, but Francis, played by Shia, is amazing in this role. He embodies that character so well, and you believe that he's that character. But again, Eddie steals the show as the caddy, um, as well as, like I said, like this outstanding cast of they surround the main characters of the film. It's just well casted. They must have seen a lot of different people to get that look and vibe from that era, and they did really well.
I agree. I like that it's not like as much as Francis is your main character. I was actually really enjoying the professional. He's a legend in the golf
Yes.
world when it comes to the UK, but Harry Vardon,
Mhm.
that actor did terrific. And
Yeah.
that's parts it's little small parts of the film because we were talking about again, the main story is about Francis, him overcoming these challenges. But I was appreciating maybe that's the golfer side of me of he had this strategy and it's really subtle, but his game was more about getting into his opponent's heads. And it works with the last year's winner of that tournament, who's American. He got into his head. And it's like, I appreciate that. But then he tries to do it with Francis and it doesn't work. There's one scene in specific, going back to the way they shoot it, the way the director uses it, is Harry's starting to catch on. Wait a minute, Francis, he might be a threat. It doesn't come out and say that, but they're telling him about it. And so the crowd is watching Francis, and he tees off, and everybody looks at the shot, but Harry just focuses on him. And it was a really cool touch of like, this guy's kind of psychotic. Like, I'm going to get in this guy's head and mess with him as much as I can. And that brings that dynamic, that like intensity of the tournament, of the stakes. It's so subtle. You're going to miss it. But that character, going back to his character, I appreciated that because throughout he's just messing with people. And by the end of it, he realizes, because you almost sense he wasn't giving Francis respect. But by the end, he's like, we should play sometime. We should catch up. That was just a good ending to kind of put a bow on it with his character. But I agree, like, going back to, if you're going to say who's the best, Eddie's, he's just hilarious. Can we just get an Eddie in our lives? Would you agree? What would you be like? Have Eddie as your best friend? Like, what would that be like if you had Eddie as your friend?
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. So much joy. So much joy.
He's just that nice balance, because Francis is, again, dealing with these challenges. I like how it shows like the stress, that pressure he's feeling, but Eddie's able to kind of reel him back in. What do you think of those parts as well? I think I'd kind of dwell on Eddie a little bit. He's a big character.
He's just the perfect person to play that role. When I saw this in theaters, I was like, can a kid really pull that off? He really did. Every line was just delivered with such perfect timing and such ease, and it you would think it would come off corny, but it's not. It's not at all. And it's just really enjoying, entertaining. And he does steal the show in a large way, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, again, I wish he was like a friend I had in real life. He just always was looking out for Francis's effort. And to think that he wasn't going to be his caddy, was it his older brother that was supposed to be there to start?
Yeah,
but
Eddie's, well, he was searching for a caddy because he didn't know he had to have one or whatever. And so he was told he had to have one. And so it was Eddie's older brother. And then he was given an offer by another golfer, like I think it was $25 or something like that, to caddy. And if he wins, he would get $50.
That's it.
Which back then is a lot of money.
Yeah. That was his entry for the first tournament that he didn't end up winning, but he was like scrambling to make the money. That's a great point too. Like, showing $50 was a lot of money back then, and that was hard for him. And these gentlemen, quote unquote, are just like, yeah, that's just an entry fee. That shows you their way in life.
As a cinephile, I have to go back and reverse it here for a second, because you mentioned the scene where they all look away and then Harry's looking forward. So that is a Hitchcock thing. He invented that. And then it was also redone in the remake of Ocean's 11, where Danny Ocean is looking away. Like, everyone's looking at the explosion and he's looking a different direction.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting to see that replayed through different artists, of directors and cinematographers, and how they interpret that, which is really cool. I love that stuff.
Right.
I could talk forever about it.
It's awesome. I eat it up every time. That's why I'm like, I could talk about those little subtle things to an average moviegoer. They catch it, but you don't realize how powerful that is able to tell a story. Just that simple. It tells all. You don't have to come out and say, like, I'm determined to break this person mentally or get in their head. Never once does he say that. He's kind of this gentleman, if you want to say. He conducts himself and he's got his composure.
Yeah.
But he does little subtle things. Like, he pulled out a driver, and the guy that won it the year before, I'm blanking on his name, but
yes.
he's just like, oh, or he isn't using a driver. That's what it was. That I was thinking of the other. And he's like, well, if he could do it, I'll do it too. And he puts his driver back, gets the club, and then he misses the green. While he takes his shot, he goes back to the driver. Just really fly. And it's just like that kind of stuff I eat up, because it just it doesn't come out and say what this character's personality is. It's the little things of how they act, what they do. And Hitchcock, like you said, that's a way that directors are able to tell it masterfully.
I wish I could remember which movie that was from, but I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of it right now. But yeah, it's a subtle shot, but it means so much. Like you were saying, that little bit shows you and tells you what's going on, and it's just truly amazing. I love it. Anytime I see something similar, it just blows my mind.
Yeah. There's just a lot of that. You could do a whole breakdown of this movie and other similar movies that do that, and I'll eat it up. I just love that. Even like the mother, they're not far away from the course, so she can hear when a crowd is cheering.
Yes.
And just that alone,
Yes.
it shows the progression. She's a mother, so she's obviously caring about Francis. But you would just assume, okay, she's a mother, but the intensity of like her face, the little cuts of her turning around, like, gasping of like, what happened? And then she ends up going to the tournament at the last few holes and watching it. And
Yeah.
again, it's a small little detail. It sounds like,
Yes.
oh, well, what's the big deal? But when you're watching it, you're immersed in the movie. It does add that extra weight. It really does matter. So can't go on enough about the directing style of Bill Paxton. I know that's a name.
Yes.
But give props where it's due. I think he did a
Oh, yeah.
fantastic job on it. Just given that, and then that's the characters. The characters just add so much. I mean, the other favorite I like is Ted Ray. He's that companion that goes with Harry. What'd you think of his character? He's kind of, because Eddie's the comic relief, but he is too. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, he has a lot of one-liners that are very interesting and well placed. His demeanor, I think, is the strongest part of his character. He seems very well, and then there's things that he says during the movie that you could tell he's kind of elevated. You know what I mean? Like he's a little superior to everyone, and it just makes for a funny gag. And I just enjoyed his acting style and that presence that he brings to the picture.
Yes, he's definitely got the one-liners, but he does have that just, I don't care, but I really do. You know what I mean? Like from his way you said that exactly, he feels superior. But then he's anxious about things and getting his proper rest one minute. And he actually, is starting to recognize Francis as that threat, because this story is about the UK wanting to defend its title. They want someone from the UK to win this American golf tournament. And that's kind of also the conflict. You have this conflict already of Francis not belonging. He shouldn't be there. He's not this gentleman. But then you got this conflict of UK and America. They're rivaling each other there. And he's just kind of in the mix. It's funny to watch him. Like, you can tell it means something to him, but he's just kind of like, whatever, you guys can bicker. Like, he makes shots that were terrible and people would cheer. And he's just like, it's in the woods. He says it under his breath. I love that line. He's just like, it's in the woods. What are you cheering about? Or he thinks that, I forget how far out he was, but it was through the trees and actually holed out. And he's just like, not hard to impress these folks or something like that. So I think he was a great balance too. Like, as much as this is a drama, you have Eddie again, just terrific child actor too. He does a great job, but he's also that other balance to the drama as well. You just can't help but chuckle, at least on it. So, but yeah, anything else, quotes or scenes you wanted to bring out?
Yeah, so I've got a couple. So the first quote I really liked was, "Read it, roll it, hole it." And then another I didn't write down, but I'm thinking of it now, is "Easy peasy lemon squeezy."
That's again his character. He just has these phrases where anytime there was adversity, he made a bad shot or he needed to get back on track, he would have that phrase, just like, calm down, it's all right. We'll just take it one shot at a time. Like you said, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And you see that again, I just can't praise it enough. The little subtle, like Shia LaBeouf, he kind of has a smirk like, yeah, that was easy, and that's why I'm like, man, we need an Eddie. We need that person that just brings you back. You're going to be overwhelmed at times. You're going to have stressful times where you're like, oh my God. And then someone just, already know, but you're just like, hey, that wasn't so bad. Cheer up, or let's go. Let's just go to the next one. And it's like, yeah, you got it. I mean, can't speak enough about Eddie. He's probably my favorite character. Yeah.
So there is a scene that I really enjoyed, and it goes along with exactly what you were saying. So although Eddie provides comedy to balance out the rather serious film, the scenes that hit me the most were the ones with Francis' father. I especially enjoyed the ending, spoiler alert, when Francis wins and they're giving him money and Francis collects the money for Eddie, but his father gives him some. That scene crushes me and warms my heart so much to see the approval and support he gets from his father.
Yeah. Yeah. I dare anybody that, you just had a special bond with your father, because the whole movie he's pushing back. And you understand, again, even if you're not a father, you understand. He's not like, I don't love you or anything. It's just he's wanting what's best for him. He's afraid he's going to get hurt. He even says as much. I want to say there's a quote earlier of like, I don't want his heart to be broken. Or he kind of asks the mother, do you want his heart to be broken? That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But that scene, it hits you. I mean, and I don't know if we touched on it as much. The soundtrack is really good too.
Yeah.
And I've said that countless times. I'll keep saying it. If you have a good score soundtrack, it just adds volumes to a film. And that's no different here. That scene you're talking about, that might be kind of the highlight I would point to of like the best overall, just really captures that moment. It's a dramatic part, but it's heartfelt, like you said, of his father accepting. You could just tell, and then the expressions on their face, and just it just comes together so well. Yeah, that's a very, very powerful scene. I'm glad you mentioned that one. And the father throughout that buildup, it just adds to it. So it's a great, just great ending. I mean, what else can you say? It's a great way to kind of end the movie overall and have that closure. Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, you got to know what's going on with the father for all this pushback he's had up to that point. So
yeah.
But yeah, well, I'll throw in a quote. One I liked was the winner from the previous year. They are kind of conducting themselves in this manner. You know, they're inviting Harry and Ray, like, you know, welcome and all this. But then he flips a switch and it's just like, we're not going to let you take this away from us, and just goes off. And Ray just says, he's like, might just have to kill that one. I laughed out loud at that one. I was like, that's a great. Again, Ray's character just kind of like, I don't care. He gave that impression, and that was a perfect like delivery and everything. The actor just did a terrific job with that. But there's lots of little subtle quotes like that. The one that you mentioned before, as a father, it nails it. Just like, you know, how'd you sleep? You know, like a baby woke up every 2 hours and cried. It is spot on. So that was my other favorite quote for sure. I think those are the ones I literally laughed out loud when they came on. So, all right. Well, if anything else, I'm sure you've got some fun facts. And again, I do enjoy golf, so I'm going to be interested if there's any golf fun facts mixed in there.
I've got a couple. We'll see how deep I go, but I got a couple. So the first one I've got here is the real Francis and Eddie were lifelong friends. When Ouimet died, Eddie was one of the pallbearers.
Yeah.
So they're lifelong friends in real life. That's really cool. That's awesome.
Love it. Yeah, I think it says that at the end credits, like they became lifelong friends, and Eddie became a multimillionaire and those types of things. So I like that. That's just a sweet moment. And the film does a great job of capturing that. Like, I don't know if we didn't really talk about that scene as well when he goes to the playoffs, because he forces a playoff round with Harry and Ray. So Francis comes in and the whole club is like, we're going to get you another caddy because, you know, we know people, and he refuses to, you know, get another caddy. Another good detail, just showing their friendship that built up over time.
That's one of my favorite lines. I didn't mention it because of how heavy it is, but he leans to the guy who's in charge and says, "Don't ever talk to my caddy."
Yes.
So that was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing scene. Yes. Thank you for bringing that out. Another one was Shia LaBeouf, and I'm going to butcher this name. Is it Max Cash? I don't know. I'm not sure. Worked on Holes together, and he played the brother of the love interest.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And were close. They were close friends in real life when they filmed this movie.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You got to think about that. Like, sometimes they, you know, overlap on friendships. Actors know each other, or they have upbringings that they just go in the same profession in a way. So that's really cool. And it's really fun because that's the you know, the brothers, that it's like in completely different characters. If I'm trying to, what I'm trying to say, when you see them, like, they're friends in real life, and then in the movie they're like, you know, they butt heads or something. That's what's kind of fun to watch to me. I love that.
And the last fun fact before the trivia question: in the film, Francis beats Harry by one stroke. In reality, he beat him by shooting a 72, finishing 5 strokes ahead of Harry and 6 strokes ahead of Ray. So I hope I didn't ruin it for anybody, because that's a little. They went a little off book there for the what actually happened to make it more cinematic.
That's the Hollywood, right? That's what I was kind of saying at the beginning. It's based on a true story. Would it be as dramatic if he was 5 strokes ahead? Maybe. I think it could have still worked, but I get it. Hollywood really wanted to push that emotion and that intensity, and I do like it. I don't know if that is what really happened. Going back to Harry's character of trying to get in Francis's head, he cuts the corner of that hole, and that's what ends up costing him, because he gets in a sand trap, has to lose a stroke to get out. Whereas Francis, again, going back to Eddie, just gotta say Eddie was awesome, because Francis was like, oh, he did it, and he like stops him. It's like, what are you doing? Like, there's a sand trap on the other side. Like, don't do that. And Francis calms down, like, let me take the safe shot, and that's what ends up winning. So I do like that, as much as, who knows, that might not have been what really happened. It did add to the story to me. So it doesn't ruin it for me, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, give respect where it's due of a true story, but I'll still take those dramatics of Hollywood too.
All right, it's time for a fun fact trivia question. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Again, I said I like golf, but let's see how much I know golf, right?
Well, it's true or false.
Okay.
So this being Bill Paxton's last directed movie, I had to put a question in for him. So true or false, did Bill Paxton create the ball cam shot used in the movie?
I have something I'll bring out in my final review about that, but I think I'll say true. Give you a little tease there.
You're right.
Okay.
It's yes. He wanted to make the movie more engaging and dynamic rather than using shots seen on TV. So he created this shot that helped you travel with the ball.
Gotcha. Okay. I like that. I didn't talk about that as much, but I'll bring it out more in my final review. But that's something I was wondering about because that was a different kind of a shot.
Yes.
Going back to the director's part of it. So
I think it was partial CGI and partial. It was the actual camera going like the actual in the air traveling with the ball. So part of it's true and part of it's kind of fictitious, but it's more engaging for sure.
Those are hard shots to get to. Like you think about Ted, he's kind of that not trick shot, but he's known for his accuracy and like the tight squeeze of the ball. That's where you can kind of tell it was more on the close up and not maybe real. It was more CGI, but if you're trying to get that shot, that's going to be tricky to do in real life. Let's just be honest, at least at that time. So, but that's awesome. All right. I got the trivia. So if I was trying to defend any kind of golf knowledge there, I got that. So nothing to do with golf, I know.
Nothing to do with golf.
But still, I survive another day. So, okay. Well, before we get to our review, we like to look around the net to see, again, movies that have been out for a few years. What's kind of the thoughts that people post online? So, Seth, what kind of reviews are you seeing?
All right. Our first review is from another repeat offender. CC, the Movie Man -1 says, another outstanding film centered around golf, 10 out of 10.
Wow. 10 out of 10. Yeah. I mean, if you like golf, you're going to love this, I think. I think it feels like a lot of golfers enjoy it, but you don't have to enjoy golf. Like, I watched it with my wife, and she's just kind of like, with golf, but she was engaged. Like, she was actually watching it and enjoying it. So I could see that for sure. You can really enjoy it, whether you like golf or not.
The second one, Mr. Embryo, said, greatest game or not, this is a great film, 8 out of 10.
Very nice. Yes. I mean, again, going back to if you like golf or not, it's just a great film. Like, it makes you feel good by the time the credits roll.
And lastly, Film School Writer says, beautifully done, 8 out of 10.
That's a great way to put it too. Beautifully done. And we talked about it, like just the way it's shot, the way it develops and all those things. So, well, there you go. A lot of good positive reviews overall. And 20 years later, we'll get to it with our reviews, but I mean, it seems like it's holding up pretty well in terms of what we're seeing reviews online there. Now, when it comes to our movies, we like to put it through the kid test. I've got a confession to make with this one. My kids didn't get a chance to watch this one. There was a lot of pushback because they were like, this doesn't look interesting. And it was also more or less just scheduling. We were trying to watch this and give it its due. So I will just say, this is a Disney film. It does have those elements we talked about. There's a little language, there's like smoking, but it's actually really mild that I think kids can enjoy this. You're just going to have to really push them a little more. I think I'm going to come back to this one and have my kids watch it at some point, just this time around, because of our schedules and things. So I wanted to just be honest and open. I don't want to be like, kids seem to enjoy it. They watch the trailer and stuff. It seemed like they would maybe enjoy it. It would just have to be the right timing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I would say it passes the kid test because there's nothing really there. You might have to explain, obviously, like the time period of the prejudice of the wealthy and gentlemen and all that. But it's nothing too sensitive, I would say. It's nothing that's going to, I would say, push kids away as long as they get immersed into it. Give them the chance to really see it's more of a character-driven story. I think they can enjoy it. So that's a little asterisk I wanted to put on the kid test. Normally I like to get actual reactions from the kids. Unfortunately, this time I didn't have it. So I just want to be honest. Well, let's get down to it. Let's give our actual certified stamp of a rating. So we're going to start with you, Seth. When it comes to the greatest game ever played, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic?
All right. So there's no hiding it. I'm a big fan of this movie. Not only am I going to take this home, it's in my top of the movies we've covered so far. I strongly would put this in the top 10 for sure.
I mean, that's not a surprise, but that's awesome. Yeah. So I really enjoyed this movie. Like, I mean, we've talked about it. I feel like we've been gushing about it a lot. We've been just like going on and on about it. I could give so much praise to Bill Paxton again. I just eat up those little details like we talked about, the way it's shot and those kinds of things. I will throw some negative out because we didn't touch on the negative. I'm going to say the CGI doesn't hold up very well because it's not just the ball, but there's also the score and like keeping track of it. I wouldn't say it took me out too much, but I just want to acknowledge that. If you're talking about a movie that's made 20 years ago, it's felt like 2000s, anything was CGI. And unfortunately, I wish they might have done like just the scores. The golf ball, I totally get. We talked about like certain shots. How were they going to do that in real life? But I just wish they would have cut back on a little bit. I feel like that it kind of put me more in between on my rating at first, but as I let it simmer, let it settle, I'm still going to take this one home. It's not that it ruined it or anything. I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. Like, is this a perfect movie? Unfortunately, I'm not going to say it's perfect because those elements do age a little bit. Are they going to ruin the movie, though? No, I don't want to say that either. I just want to give my honest take because we're all about, does this movie hold up? To some people like me, when I'm watching it for the first time, I was kind of like, oh, that didn't age as well. I'm also thinking of like, there's the ladybug that lands on the golf ball when Ted makes the shot. It wasn't bad, but you could just tell it didn't age as well as others. But other than that, I don't know if there's any really negatives with this movie. It's just well told, and that's what you want. You're not going to dwell on special effects as much. You want good acting. You want actual storytelling where you feel those emotions, and that was all here. Like, checked all the boxes for me. And that's not just me because I like golf. I go back to my wife. The credits rolled. My wife was like, that was a really good movie. And I was like, yeah, that was great. So no matter your background, I can't recommend this enough. It's great. But if you want to talk about things that hold up, that would be my only negative, but nothing that's going to ruin this for sure. Definitely check this one out if you have not already. There you go, folks. We got another movie in the books. This was so much fun. Great to go back. This kind of, as much as it was a timepiece of 1910s, it also took me back to 2000s. Shia LaBeouf and all those actors, seeing them younger, it's just kind of cool. I mean, it's just, that's what this podcast is all about. Get that nostalgia. Even if you don't have it like me, I'd never seen this before. I still had a little bit of that nostalgia there. So before we go, we wrap things up. Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on YouTube, Threads, Facebook, and Instagram at Movies at Grandma's House. On TikTok at LADX Media. Feel free to email us movie suggestions, memories, comments to moviesatgrandmashouse@gmail.com. We have a very excellent newsletter, so check that out, as well as a Patreon with exclusive content for loyal fans. And as always, we are brought to you by movieposters.com, so please use code Grandma's House, that's all one word, at checkout for up to 15% off.
There you go. All good stuff. So yeah, we want to share the love, to share the fun. So make sure you're on the newsletter. You can win a free movie poster. We just had a winner recently. It's so much fun. So if you haven't already, make sure you're on there. And as Seth mentioned, you can practically find us anywhere else. So drop us a line. We'd love to connect with you, hear your memories and your thoughts. Well, that's going to do it for our time at Grandma's house. But don't worry, we will be back soon. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.